we're going to go ahead and get started. So, observing the index futures triad, picking up right where we left off from last night. Right, we had this range high here outlined on the S&P and the Nasdaq, along with this range low here, and also this minor low right here. And we said depending on which side the market chooses, that will give us clarity on what price is likely to do. So observing of how the day closed out, right, we can see the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq ended up closing above this high right here, while also creating a 6-hour fair value gap. And something else that we can see is the Nasdaq took out this high right here. So what we want to see from here on out into the next 2 days is we'd want to see if the S&P 500 can play catch up and use this 6-hour gap here as support to trade to this high, right? The exact same high that the Nasdaq made its way to. Now, in terms of the Dow, I'm not really too concerned about the Dow. Right? There is a sequential SMT, both sides of the market. Right? Price has taken out previous week's low on the Dow, and the Nasdaq and the S&P have taken out the previous week's high. So we can just rule out the Dow as decoupled for now. And everything that we have, we can expect higher prices leading into the next 2 days. So, Thursday, Friday, high of the week. Is that clear? Does that make sense? So, not really too much to talk about, especially intraday. Price just made a move higher and consolidated for the rest of the day. So, there's really nothing to review. The only thing we can do is just know what to expect for the coming days. And you guys have already seen this or seen something like this before, right? Whenever the first 3 days of the week closes out and we create a fair value gap, how many times have I shown you these gaps tend to work? Handful of times. But we can do some Q&A and then we'll go ahead and call it that. 60% of the time, they work every time. Exactly. Explosive move coming because that's a Wednesday gap? Maybe. We'll see. Stream tomorrow morning? Yep. We'll be tape reading Thursday and Friday. Can you go over working TPD and reversal one? Also touching on how it is discretionary. So a reversal TPD, we'll take it like this TPD here. The one that we highlighted and we wanted to see cause the market to fall lower. This is a reversal TPD because it's reversing the entire weekly range. It's changing the scope of the market sentiment. And we only care about this TPD once the day closes out. So come by Thursday's live stream last week. That's whenever we talked about this TPD. And we said this is going to be the catalyst for why price should drop lower. So that's reversal TPD. Another thing with a reversal TPD is more times than not, you'll have a clear market maker model with that TPD, right? Elements to a high probability reversal TPD. Number one, change in state of delivery / conversion level. Number two, market maker model. Right, if you have these things right here in alignment with the TPD, once the day closes out, whether it's a 6 hour, whether it's a 4 hour, whether it's a daily time frame TPD, right? If you have these two things here in alignment, the TPD is high probability. Adding on top of that, this is for actually the depth of the TPD. But if you look outside of that, and you have a key level supporting the TPD, that adds even more probability to the equation, right? What do we have right here supporting this TPD? Daily time frame gap. So daily time frame gap, 4 hour TPD, change in the state of delivery with a market maker model. All of these things in alignment and was still intact once the day closed out. This gave us everything we needed to know. Now, we were using this for narrative, right? Keep in mind, we were using this to understand that the trend of the week has changed and things have flipped, right? The week was trending bullish here, formed that TPD, the day closed out. Okay, this should remain an intact high for the remainder of the week. And it is 10 o'clock. Now, a working TPD, right? And for some reason I can't type. A working TPD doesn't need change in state of delivery or market maker model. Heavy on the market maker model. It doesn't need that. Now, you can use the reversion level as a key level in the morning session. But with a working TPD, that tells you that a Kraken correlation is about to form. Which looking lower into today. Here, for example, 9 o'clock, 1 hour candle. Here's the TPD, right? 9 o'clock, 1 hour candle. This tells you that there's likely going to be an SMT. Now, you're using this in the sense of, I know there's going to be an SMT, but you're only focusing on the SMT in the direction where you anticipate price to draw towards. And yeah, so working TPD can be on the 1 hour chart. And that's why it's called a working TPD, because it's working in your favor to help you get alongside price. It's not telling you what price is about to do, it's helping you get alongside price. Does that make sense? And once we get deeper into things, it'll become even more clear. Reversal TPD that you pointed out, yep, from last week, which, as we can see here from this TPD, did it reverse the current sentiment? And then, ultimately trade lower, taking the original consolidation lows. Yes. Now, admittedly, the S&P and the Nasdaq, they had other plans, which it is what it is. Whenever you're trading in, conditions like this, not everything is going to be perfect. Right? For the past 2 months, it's been pure consolidation. So we're working with what we got. Space did a great trade today. He explained the reason of him taking it was because of yesterday was the manipulation, so plan no retracement and just expansion for today towards the draw. My question is, are we going to learn each day's function, or is it something that we learn solo based on experience in both? Have you entered your position for the week yet? Currently at one break even from the S&P 500. And then you guys can probably take a guess at what my next trade is going to be. Would it be fair to say that working TPDs act as left side of the curve most of the time, if it's not always, rather than being the smart money reversal point? Yes. Is consolidation normal for the yearly Q1? Yeah. But seeing a consolidation for this long on index futures is not usual, I'll say. What is the lifetime of a working TPD? I mean, once the day closes out, if not break the range, can we still consider? No. Once the day closes out and it's ruled out and not a reversal TPD, then you don't consider it any longer. The term the left side of the curve, he's talking about market maker models. It's not fun to come into each day to see that price is barcoding. Yeah. But these are the times here that test your patience. That's all it is. A patience test. You're going to be forced to learn, whether it's the hard way or the harder way. So TPDs expire at the end of the day? Yes. And once the day closes out, if the TPD isn't ruled as a reversal TPD, then it's completely expired. You don't care about it. Which, for the people in here, we've been, what is it? It's only been about 2 months. How would you say your progression has been in understanding price for the newer people? 30% on an account? Crazy. That's good. And just think, this is the beginning. Right? We've just covered the tip of the iceberg. And if you've already made, a good amount of progress, just imagine where you'll be in a year from now. But I'm glad you guys have positive feedback. That tells me that I'm doing everything right. What can I do about the WAP issue? Try it tomorrow, or is there something you can do on your end? I'll see if there's something I can do on my end. Can't wait for price action to open up. Yeah, once conditions become easy, it'll be hard to lose money. Because it is the same protocol every single week. And there's like 70, 80% chance they'll have to take a winning trade based off of the system that I'm going to show you. You trade under an LLC on your live. I have some of them connected to an LLC, but LLCs protect you. They don't really help you with taxes. If you want to get help with taxes, open up a corporation. Yeah, somebody already said it. With an S corp, you minimize. I forget exactly how it is. I used to know a lot about this stuff. But with an S corp, you are your employer and also the employee, if that makes sense. So the percentages get brought down because you pay yourself. And you only have to pay so much on the percentage that you give yourself. Our tax for US derivatives, each state has its own rules. Just don't pay taxes. Exactly. I lived it. But what tax was Trump trying to do away with? The income tax? Yeah, but now the tariffs are illegal. He also said, what is it? He's going to give a $2,000 stimulus check, and now he doesn't even remember saying that. 2025 made 320K. Prop firm fees were 57K. Yep, and that 57K can be written off. And also, you can write off your computer, your trading view, all your subscriptions. Like even YouTube Premium for me, that's a write off. And yes, I'm a YouTube Premium enjoyer. That's what I play in the tape readings in the background. The feds must be loving these last two sessions. Why don't you live in Puerto Rico? Because I have people here that are tied down here, and I want to stay with them. Maybe one day in the future. Because don't you only have to live in Puerto Rico for what? 180 days recorded, and then you can go off do whatever you want for the other or for the remaining rest of the year. 180 days and buy a house after 3 years to stay. Already contributed 14,500, and same with backdoor Roth IRA. You were able to contribute 14 grand to a Roth IRA in 1 year. With a backdoor Roth, I've never heard of that. I have to tap in. I never looked into Roth IRAs because I saw that, it was nerfed. If you make so much, you can't even get a Roth IRA. Put it on a backdoor. I'll have to look into that. Does it work the same as a regular Roth IRA, where you put in taxed income and then, by the time you're old and decrepit, tax free? It's a way to transfer from one asset into Roth. You get that with the solo 401k. Oh, so it's a loophole. So you're not contributing to a Roth. You're just transferring into a Roth. Hmm. Interesting. My 401k through work is an IRA. Rather pay taxes on the money going in versus all the gains over the years. Yeah. And thank goodness, you know, I don't really care where you stand on the political pendulum, but if Kamala Harris would have gotten into office, we would have unrealized, and she said this, and even Biden said this, that we would have unrealized capital gains taxes. That that would have been trailing drawdown with the IRS. That is insane. When they say more money, more problems, it's true. Don't even know what to do with it. Yep. And it's weird because you'll cross a certain level, and we discussed this before, but you'll cross a level to where you realize you don't actually have that much, and there's so much out there in the world that you can do. But you're rich in the sense you don't have to worry about food, but you're broke in the sense like, oh, if I buy 30 properties, then I can get paid, this amount per month, and then never have to do anything again. Forget when the dials decoupled. Should we disregard the TPDs? Yep. Passive income to live forever or live free forever. Yeah. But passive income is a myth. There's always going to be some problem that you have to solve. There's always going to be something wrong with a business, right? No matter what it is, right? Let's say you have 50 different properties. Okay, yeah, you're making this amount. All 50 of them are paid off, right? So everything you make, that's profit. There's always something wrong. You have vacancies, you have people, tearing up the house a little bit. You have broken water heater, broken pipe, all sorts of stuff that you have to solve. And yeah, you can have a property manager and things like that, but you're still gonna on the forefront have to know what's going on and administrate everything. Rich and poor at the same time, just the way you see it. Compare yourself to others. I say I'm rich in the way I don't have to listen to no one to tell me what to do and whatever I want. Yep. That is rich right there. Not having to adhere to anybody. Property managers suck and will rob you. Not all, of course, but many. That's the part of the reason it's not passive. Yeah. The only thing that's really passive, truly passive, are going to be dividends. We said at the same time. Dividends, yeah. That's like the what third time that we said the same thing at the same time. But even then, with dividends, you have to worry about the stock, something going wrong, and then wiping out all of your gains from said dividends. So, moral of the story, life is hard. But it's harder if you're stupid. So when I'm setting up a TraderVate account, I should do individual and send funds to an S Corp account. Yeah. Which I'll have to go on their website again to see all of the options that they provide. Bonds are good as well. Swinging bonds is also a very good way to create a bond ladder. Yep. But I think we're going to go ahead and call this one here. So, with that being said, hopefully you all found this one insightful. I'll speak with you all again tomorrow morning. Good luck and enjoy the rest of your day.